Hello, my friends. It's Bradley J, and we're gonna rock today. We're back with my pal Max Boris, whom was on the program 1 year ago, 2 years ago, somewhere deep in the heart of the pandemic, because he had an album out, Primitive Electric, and now he's back with a new album and a new band, and we're going to talk about it. He's got some gigs coming up, and he's going to perform live. Yay! So, Max, how do you do?
I'm doing great, Bradley. It's good to see you again, man.
Tell the folks how we hooked up and then like what we did initially and how things have changed and what you got going on now.
Totally. So we met through a mutual friend, Gretchen Shea, who has Gretchen in the Middle Eight and Gretchen in the Banshees. And yeah, she told me, you got to reach out to Bradley, and here's his email. So I did. And at that time, yeah, we were like in the heart of the pandemic. And I had either just released or was about to release the Primal Electric album, which was my debut album as a solo artist. And I remember we did a couple interviews there. I played some tunes from there. And then throughout the pandemic, I was doing a lot of online teaching. I was doing video editing, and I was still writing music. Then new from between on New Year's 2020 going into 2021, I got this bad boy here, my Strandberg 8 string, and I started writing music on this. Then once the summer of last year rolled around, venues started opening back up again, and I was like, "Oh, great. Now I can start playing out live again," because I was doing live streams every weekend on Twitch. But now I was like, "Oh, great. I can get back on stage with a band again." So I remember I hit up the bandmates I had right before the pandemic started, and the bass player had moved to California, and the guitar player went on to pursue other things. So I sort of needed to reform. I needed to form a new band. So I still have my brother Ethan on drums, and I also and then I reached out to my friend Joe Connect, who he and I went to school together. We went to Berkeley together, and we've known each other for like 5 years now. And I said, "Hey, I'm starting shows back up again. Do you want to play guitar in the band?" He said, "Absolutely." And now he plays both second guitar and keyboards in the band. And we'll get into that a little bit later. And the bass player, Ron Bernhout, I didn't know him while I was at school, but he was recommended to me by a mutual professor of ours. So I got a hold of him, and then we started rehearsals up. And then throughout that summer and the fall, we just started playing out all around Boston and Boston, Maine, New Hampshire, places all over the place. And during that time, I was writing new music. So we were playing a combination of songs from the Primal Electric album, but we were also playing new music that I had been writing for the album that I'm about to talk about, which is coming out this Friday. So while we were doing all that, we were preparing to actually record the album. And so basically around March, I actually have it written here. Yeah, around March and April of this year, we started doing we began tracking drums, and then we started recording guitars and bass and all that stuff. And like I said, I wrote all the music on the album, but two of the songs on the album were co-writes between myself and Joe. And he played keyboards on one of the songs too, which was awesome. And in fact, he actually plays keyboards on 3 songs. And on the song we co-wrote together, he played just keyboards on that one. So we recorded the entire album, and then we did a 2-week tour of New England and the New York metro area. We did Boston, we did Maine, where we actually have a residency now, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And we played New York, we played Philadelphia, we played Connecticut. We just went around for 2 weeks playing stuff out. And so now what's next on the agenda is the album, which is called Transhuman, is going to be out this Friday. There's already 2 singles out, and I'm going to play a couple of them. There's 2 singles out right now. One is called Absolute Power. The other one is called Transhuman. It's the title track. And Transhuman, that song has a visualizer that's on YouTube right now. That's on my YouTube channel, Max Boris Music. And so, and for the album release, we have 2 album release shows coming up. The first one is going to be this Friday. That one's going to be in New Jersey at a record store called Tunes in Voorhees near Philadelphia. We're going to be performing the album in its entirety there. And then the next one, I actually haven't formally announced this yet because we're still solidifying the lineup for the lineup of bands for that bill. But we are going to be performing at Charlie's Hill on October 2nd in Lebanon, Maine. And we've got a whole slew of great bands on there, and we're still waiting to confirm 1 or 2 more. And what's awesome about Charlie's Hill is it's one of the last underground venues in New England, as far as I'm aware. The people there are so awesome. There's always a great crowd there, and it's just got such a cool vibe. And we have a monthly residency now. We're there every first Sunday of the month. We were just there earlier this month. We played with Wired for Sound, Golly G. Willikers, and an Alice in Chains tribute act called Nothing Safe, which actually my dad and my youngest brother play in. Wow. So yeah, so that's really cool. And so yeah, so right now the plan is we're preparing for those 2 album release shows where we're going to be performing the Transhuman album front to back, and we're still just trying to book more and more shows. I'm going to be having music videos put out and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So it's very it's keeping me very, very busy on top of, just on top of the teaching I do. And I also play in a wedding band. So, it keeps me, you gotta stay on top of your schedule with all this stuff, but it's great. I'm doing music for a living and I absolutely love it.
What do you call this incarnation of the band? Is it just Max Boris or is it something else?
No, okay. It's just under my name, Max Boris. Yeah. Right. When I decided to do the solo artist thing, I sort of took the idea like Steve Vai or Joe Satriani or Andy Timmons do. They kind of just go under their name.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it still does feel like a band, because like when I write a song, they go and learn the song, but at the same time, like I will make a fully fleshed out demo with all the parts in there, and then I will transcribe everything. Then I will send it off to them, and they will learn it. But also, I'll send them like snippets of sections when I'm in the creative process, and I'll be like, "Hey, here's something I'm working on. What do you guys think?" And every now and then they'll give me tips as to like, this riff is definitely cool, but it seems to be a little bit repetitive. Maybe you might want to switch it up at this point here or this point here. Cool stuff like that. And like I said, 2 of the songs I co-wrote with my guitar player. One of them's like a huge ballad, and the other one is the second to last song, which is this huge like anthemic kind of in your face rock song. So yeah, and you'll hear all that stuff when the album's out on Friday. And I should also point out that CDs are available, and I'm going to be making a link on my website soon so that people can buy them. I'll also be selling them at shows. And the artwork was actually done by Carissa Johnson, who is a good friend of mine. She also did my logo. She's done all my band's photography, and she's fantastic. People that live in Boston will know about her.
And your website is Max Boris Music, right?
MaxBorisGuitar.com.
Guitar.com. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's hear, rather than describe the music verbally, let's have you show us. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. First song I'm going to play is called Absolute Power, and this is the first single I released for the album, and it's also the first song on the album.
Okay, buckle up, people. The sound check was loud. Here we go. Good. Share this, everybody, by the way. Share it. You'll help me, you'll help Max. Share. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. One thing that was happening is that it was overdriving some. So you know how, like, I don't know whether it's the microphone or what part of the system. If it gets too loud, it just kind of goes away.
Okay.
I don't know. It might have. with the guitar you could hear really well on the high, but when you get chugging in the low, it kind of all that energy blanked out. Everything.
All right, let me maybe if I turn the master down a little bit, it'll.
We'll see. That's all right. We got the idea.
Yeah.
And when you come back, so Lou Duffy says, blah blah blah. Cool handmade axe, but that's not handmade. That's a what is it? A Strom what?
Strandberg.
Strandberg 8-string. Before
Yeah.
you do song number 2, talk a little bit about the guitar, and then we'll do song 2.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So these guys have been around actually for a while. The guy who made this guitar, Ola Strandberg, he originally made this guitar. So headless guitars have been around for a while, like since the '80s with the Steinberg models and everything. But he and Alan Holsworth was very famous for using those. So Ola Strandberg, he's Swedish. He decided he wanted to make a guitar for Alan Holsworth, and I think Alan did get to try these at one point, but he remained with Carvin and then eventually Kiesel until he died. However, Ola kept making these guitars, and now like artists like Pliny use them, and a whole bunch of other different artists. And what I love about this guitar is that the reason for all these cutaways isn't necessarily just to look exotic, but it's actually it makes it more lightweight, and it's very ergonomic. So for example, like this huge cutaway here makes it very easy to get up high, and your hand doesn't get bunched up. And then this cutaway here again just takes extra weight off. And then this one right here, what's cool about this, and I don't have a chair with me, but if you sit down in the classical position, or if you just have it on your right leg, it molds perfectly to your lap. And the guitar is very well balanced. Like if I move over here, you'll see the microphone doesn't reach as far, but you'll notice that like with a normal headstock guitar, the thing will want to go down this way, but this doesn't. This stays up the whole time. It's perfectly balanced. And I know people might be wondering, well, how do you tune it? There's no headstock. The tuners are right here at the bridge, actually. So it's these individual like knobs. You turn them forward to tune it sharp, and you tune it backward to tune it flat. And what's also cool, and now we're gonna get a tad nerdy here. So as all guitar players know, the back of the neck is rounded off. It's a semicircle. But what's cool about this, if you can see it in the light properly, you'll notice that it's not a semicircle. It's kind of like a trapezoid sort of deal. And what it does is it runs from this part of the neck all the way down here. So it's not even a straight line. And so what that's for is that helps to keep your thumb in place. So when cool. It keeps your thumb in place. And what's great about that is, aside from it's just proper technique, you also, because with an 8-string guitar, it's a much wider neck. So you'd think that up here, if you're trying to play the lower strings, your hand's going to hurt. Well, this keeping your thumb in place makes it so that your hand doesn't hurt while you're doing that. In fact, the day I got this, which was New Year's, like I said, New Year's Eve of 2020 going into 21, when I brought this thing home, I sat down with it for like 8 hours. I didn't even watch any of the New Year's specials or anything. I was just playing this nonstop, just trying to learn all the 8-string music I'd ever heard, and then of course trying to write stuff. So this guitar is one of my all-time favorite guitars, and I'm looking to get a 6-string version, next for all the 6-string stuff I do.
By the way, Max's setup there is so good, and his microphone sounds so good that when we did the thing a couple years ago, I realized it sounded good, and I got the same one he got. That's why I got this SM7B, because it sounded good when he used it. Let's do another song before we head out.
All right. So I'm going to do the second single for you. And this is the title track on the album. It's called Transhuman, and there's actually a visualizer available for this one now. It's out on my YouTube channel, which is Max Boris Music. Go check that out. this guy I found through Fiverr. His name is Sandy Pan. He does all kinds of cool like music videos and visualizers, and he did the one for this, which is awesome. And so, without further ado, let's play the song.
Max Boris, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not done.
Oh, we're not done.
There we go.
All right. Sorry about the premature clapping.
It's all good.
Yay for you. That's wow. That's big stuff. Who goes to see your shows? Like, is there a particular kind of person that goes?
Um, Usually it's well, we're trying to cultivate a fan base together right now. Um, yeah, like a lot of the bands that we play with, they'll come out and see us even if they're not on the bill, which is cool.
Yeah.
So like some people we've played with are like the band Wired for Sound. The guys in that band are awesome. Um, Gretchen's come out to see us. We in fact right now the place that we really enjoy playing at is that place I told you about, Charlie's Hill, where we have that residency. And the people that are there are fantastic people. They're really awesome. They love music, and they're open to all different styles of music. Like, we've played on bills up there where there's a more straight ahead rock band, and then there's someone doing singer songwriter stuff, and then we come on doing this blazing progressive rock, metals type stuff, which is instrumental, and everyone seems to love it. And the people there are just so welcoming and just so cool. And yeah, and I would say usually the people, and I mean, it varies, but a lot of times the people that come to see us are usually around my age or maybe a little bit younger. So in their mid to late 20s, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Very briefly, where can people find more about you and order the album?
All right. So right now you can still pre-order the album, and links to that are on my website, maxborisguitar.com. All right. I'm also on Instagram at Max Boris Official. There's a picture of me playing, I believe it's either this guitar or my Universe over there. And most of my updates are usually on my website or my Instagram. I also have a Bandcamp, which is just under my name. And you'll see it with this logo right here. I'm standing in front of the logo.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So that logo's up there, and you can pre-order the album there as well. And then for physical copies, well, you're going to have to come out to shows for that one. So,
yay.
So if you're in New Jersey listening to this right now, we're going to be playing at Tunes in Voorhees, New Jersey. Again, there's going to be, you go onto my website and you can find a link to that. And then we're also going to be at Charlie's Hill in Lebanon, Maine on October 2nd. I'll be providing a link for that shortly. And yeah, that's what we got going on right now. Album is out on Friday, and we are booking more and more shows right now and putting together more content for everyone to look at.
Yay. Well, thanks for entertaining us this, what is it, a Monday morning? Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah.
And
thank you for having me.
Folks, it's Max, M-A-X, Boris, B-O-R-A-S. B-O-R-A-S. And he's going to be around a while. We'll definitely have you back. Thanks, Max.
Thanks, Bradley. Thanks for having me on. Thank you for watching, everyone.